I'm just making sure I got no carrot in my teeth. Is there carrot?
Looks good. Don't worry.
Hi, welcome back to our channel. Today we're making black bean Mexican Cajun style Buddha bowls. We're going to start off with making a wonderful bean, corn, tomato dish that we'll then serve with bulgur wheat and a whole lot of fresh crisp vegetables. So let's get started. All right, so I cooked some black beans, which if you have a look in the description below, there is a link to that video, and you can learn how to make black beans from scratch in your Instant Pot or Instant Chef, or you can use tinned black beans, up to you. Just make sure you rinse them well if they've got salt in them, and just obviously keep that in mind if you're wanting to add miso or salt into your dish, that the salt content in it is going to be quite high. If you're cooking from scratch, you've cooked them with no salt, you can then add miso or add salt to taste, whatever your preference is. So let's get started. So I would usually start off with chopping an onion and throwing an onion in. Unfortunately, we're actually in quarantine. We've been exposed to someone who's just found out that they're positive for COVID, so we're needing to self-isolate for 2 weeks. So we don't have onions at the moment. We've ordered some in, hopefully we'll get a delivery, but this is going to be without onion. But I would suggest you start with frying up some onions. But in my pot, you can come and have a look, is our beautiful black beans that we've just cooked. So those are still actually quite warm. Into the pot, I'm going to throw, I had a tin of sweet corn. You can use frozen corn, which I think I would have preferred because it wouldn't be as sweet, but I've given them a good rinse, and I'm just going to throw those in. I've got some tomatoes from our garden. So these are cherry tomatoes from our garden, but you can cut up tomatoes you've bought from the store or ones you've grown yourself. You can cut up big ones. You can use a tin tomato. I'm just using these because I've got them and they're fresh from our garden, and we just love that. So I'm going to take all the little stalks off. I'm going to halve those and I'm going to throw those in. So there we have it, our little cherry tomatoes, probably about a cup's worth. Okay, I'm going to use this just to help me to scoop that in, and we'll just throw that in. Fortunately, I only managed to find 3 little jalapeños. So I'm going to chop those up. I'm going to leave the seeds in. They're really not that spicy. I'm going to throw that in. Okay. Just rest my fingers. Alright, into that I'm going to throw a tablespoon of miso. So this will just add some saltiness to it, a little bit of like umami flavor. Throw that in. Scrape it that way, just to get it out. Into this bowl, I'm going to throw some spices. So we're going to start off with some garlic powder. So I'm going to put in a teaspoon of garlic powder, a teaspoon of onion powder. Onion powder is quite hard to find in South Africa. It's not something that seems to be stocked on the shelves in our grocery stores. So this I got from Faithful to Nature. It's the Good Life organic onion powder. It's really nice. We even put this on our popcorn. It gives you that sort of like cheese and onion. If you put it with nutritional yeast, you get this sort of like cheesy onion kind of flavor on your popcorn. So that's a really nice addition. Then I've got some Cajun spice. This I got from either Spice Emporium or Spice World. So it's just a mixture of spices. It's absolutely beautiful. I'm going to put 2 teaspoons of that because this is what we're aiming for, sort of a Cajun-y spice. And then I'm going to put 1 teaspoon of paprika. And then I'm going to put some ground black pepper. My black pepper has got black cumin in it, and so we're going to end up with that in it as well. There's one more thing to go in here. Before I forget, I'm going to get 1 teaspoon of cumin. In South Africa, it might be called jeera powder as well if you go to a spice shop. So we're gonna use jeera powder, and I'm going to put a teaspoon of that in. Awesome. So these are my spices. The list of everything is going to be in the description below, and I'm going to throw that in. One thing I should have done was probably mix the miso with the water, just so that it is mixed up. So I'm actually going to fish it out, which I know sounds kind of crazy, but I'm going to kind of fish it out. Not the best for a video, but actually I'm going to put it back in here, and I'm going to put let's go with half a cup. I'm going to put half a cup of water, and I'm just going to mix this up so that it dissolves, and just so that it is evenly spread through the whole dish. Find a half cup measure. So here we are, half cup of water. I've even got a bit of tomato in there. Oh, I'm not looking at the camera. I've even got like a half a tomato in there, and a bit of corn and some spices, but I'm not going to worry too much about that. It seems my little whisk is probably dirty. So I'm going to use a big whisk just to break it up. It's going to sound crazy. Ooh, this is going to be a disaster. Let's do that. Alright, let's come back here. Alright, so I'm just going to use this to kind of mix it up. I don't want to squish my tomato too much, but I do want to get that miso mixed in. It's a good way to squish it up, or you can use a fork. I actually have a mini whisk, which is quite nice. So I can just get that mixed in. Right. Okay, so I'm going to pour that in. I don't want to put too much liquid in because I don't want it to be too watery. It's going to steam. I'm just going to give it a good stir so the spices are all nicely combined, and the pressure cooker will trap all the liquid in, so we really don't need more than that. I'm kind of crossing my fingers a little and hoping it doesn't burn, but I'm not going to put it in for very long. It doesn't need a lot of cooking. Alright, so I'm going to seal my larger cooker. Make sure the vents are closed. I'm going to set it onto the stew setting, and I'm just going to put it, I think, on for 10 minutes. None of these things really need a lot of cooking, so I'm going to start it with. It's going to raise it up to pressure. The pressure valve will go up. It'll cook for 10 minutes. And so in the interim, we're going to put some bulgur wheat on the stove. When you're cooking bulgur wheat, it's a 1-to-2 ratio. I'm going to put 1 cup of bulgur wheat to 2 cups of water. That should be more than enough for the 3 of us who are going to enjoy these bowls today. Yeah, so let's get going. Just put the gas on. Here's my 2 cups of water. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this up to the boil. And once it's up to the boil, I'm then going to put a cup of bulgur wheat on and remove it from the heat. So we'll wait for that to boil and we'll be back. While we wait for that, we're going to get our veggies ready. Today, I absolutely just love eating the rainbow, and we've already got yellow from the corn and black from the beans, and we've got some red from the tomatoes, and the bulgur wheat, which is this beautiful golden color, and then we add these, and we're literally going to be eating a rainbow today. So I was excited that I have these in my fridge. So I'm going to start off with our carrot, and I'm going to peel it and chop off the ends, and then instead of just dicing it or cubing it or slicing it, I'm going to use this really weird cool thing that I don't even know where I got it from. It just ended up free with something I bought, but it's like a pencil sharpener. It's so cool. Or a spiralizer, I suppose. But I'm going to spiralize this or sharpen my pencil, my carrot pencil, and just makes really nice shavings to go in your bowl. So let's do that really quickly. I think this is just a really fun way of adding a difference to the dish. So as you can see, I'm just pushing down and turning, and it is making sharpenings. You can get your kids involved in this. My kids would laugh at me if I said come and sharpen a vegetable, but maybe yours would find this interesting. It would be easier to chop stuff. This is just for fun. It's a different texture in your bowl. Or I can give you a different look. I think it's worth the effort. And we're waiting for everything else to cook anyway, so I might as well have a bit of fun in the kitchen while you're at it.
Should I be recording?
And then, no.
Okay.
There's a fork in there. So there we have it, my sharpened carrot. Look at that. That's just fun. I like fun food. All right, the water's just started boiling, so follow me. And we'll move that from the heat. And we'll put my coffee jar full of bulgur wheat. We'll put 1 cup. It's about what I've got here actually, so I'm just going to put it all in. Take the lid off. Actually, it lasts a little bit. Pour that in, give it a bit of a stir. Put the lid on and just leave it for 20 minutes. So by the time we're ready to plate, the bulgur wheat will be ready. You can see already that this is going to pressurize itself shortly. You're going to see this little pink thing pop up. And then the countdown for 10 minutes will start. So in the interim, let's get our red cabbage on. My kids laugh that this is called red cabbage and it's actually purple. But red cabbage it is. So we use the last of that. I'm going to try, I don't really want too much of this core in, so I'm going to kind of cut this out. Because that's not going to be very pleasant to eat. Alright, and we're just going to thinly slice this. And you can use any vegetables you like. If you want to use some kale or some spinach or
Nobody's going to use kale.
regular kale. Well, it's, you know, some people might actually like the taste of kale. When we eat kale, we try to hide it because we're not fans, but we do know that it's... There we go. Woohoo. We have liftoff. Yeah, so get this cut up. And this is just going to be such a beautiful Buddha bowl. You can buy a lot of your vegetables pre-cut. We prefer to chop our own or grow our own. But there you have it.
So pre-cut is bad for you.
Oh yeah, pre-cut's not good for you. I mean, you end up with a lot more like toxins and stuff that have grown. So fresh is better. And also you've got all the nutrients still in the food. They haven't been lost. So freshly cut is best. But if you're still getting used to vegetables, you know what? If you work full time and that's the only way you can get vegetables in your diet, whether it's frozen or tinned or you know, whatever's convenient, get it in your diet. After that you can strive for perfection.
Still better than eating a cheeseburger.
Still better than eating a cheeseburger. Anything's better than eating a cheeseburger. So then I've got my green peppers cut. Standing on my chopping board here. That's alright. We do that regularly. So it's not the best green pepper, but it's the best of the ones I had. Let's cool. I love the inside of peppers. They're just interesting. While we're waiting for our bulgur wheat and our beans to cook, I'm gonna make a dressing to go over the top. And this is something I discovered kind of changed the way I eat butter bowls. So I'm gonna grab the ingredients and I'll see you in a sec. All right, so for our dressing, I am not putting peppers in. This is actually mint, it's dried mint. You can use fresh mint if you like. But into my dressing, I'm going to put a tablespoon, this is a half tablespoon measurement. I'm gonna put a whole tablespoon of dried mint. I am going to put, I suppose I gotta measure this. Let's go with 2 tablespoons. So that's a half. It's 1, 1.5, 2, actually let's make it 3. It's the equivalent of a tablespoon each.
What is that?
This is apple cider vinegar. Thank you for that. Just put some of whatever yellowy liquid, could be oil, don't do that. No, it's apple cider vinegar, nothing fancy. It's one of the few remaining lemons that we harvested from our tree. We have lots of green ones, but they're gonna be a long time, so I'm gonna savor these while we can. So let's see how much juice we get from this half. It's pretty big, but there is quite a lot of pith. So let's measure this out in case you want to use store-bought. Once again, fresh is always better, but I understand not everybody can get. So that's 2 tablespoons. Let's give that a stir and see how that tastes. That's a really nice mix. I don't think that even needs more lemon. That's really good. Okay, so that, and in that I'm just gonna put a bit of black pepper. As I always say, I've got a bit of black cumin in here as well. You don't need to do that if you don't want to, but there is a link in the description as to why black cumin is good for you. But we're gonna just crack a bit of black pepper because black pepper is always lovely. And there you have it. That is our dressing that we're gonna pour over our butter bowls. And on the top of your butter bowls, you can sprinkle some nuts or some seeds, or some hemp seeds is really great. It's a great source of protein if you need some extra protein in your diet. But yeah, we've got 2 more minutes on our pressure cooker before that's ready. So I'll see you when it's time to plate. So our beans have just finished and it smells incredible. I'm glad I didn't put more water in. I was a little worried there wouldn't be enough, but it's absolutely perfect. If you wanted to even thicken this a little bit, you could add some corn flour or whatever, but I think that is perfect and there's no need to adjust that at all. So, yum. All right, let's have a look at our bulgur wheat. So there you have it. Nice and fluffy. Yum. Start off with that. It's always seconds if somebody wants. Put some red cabbage. If you see a fly flying around, it's because we live in Africa.
The guest fly.
It's the guest fly, and it is summer, and it's not touching the food. We won't let it, but yeah, it's around. All right, so we've got that. Jam, you want some green pepper? So no green pepper for one of them. More for us, babe.
Yeah.
Look at that. It's so cool. And last but not least, spoon in our bean. Mexican / Cajun bean mixture. I'm gonna have to come up with a better name than that. We often make something similar to this when we want nachos. It's really great. So if you're not avoiding fats, you can add some gorgeous avocado on the top. If you're avoiding fats because you're trying to lose weight, then I'd recommend leaving this off, like I'm going to. A little bit of hemp seed for my loaf. A little bit of for me, a little bit for Jasmine, just for some protein. And there you have it. Our Mexican / Cajun, because really not sure where this kind of recipe comes from. It's got Cajun spice in it, but it's got the beans with the corn. So we're gonna call it our Mexican Cajun bean Buddha bowl. So there you have it.
Yum.
Time to eat.
Not you. Not your type of time yet.